Go. Okay. Good evening, everybody. We have a unique opportunity. We have our guest, but he's here in studio, like real people, not just on Zoom. And you see with me, sitting right next to me, is Rabbi Telsner from Chabad at Illinois State in Normal. And very graciously, we are joined by a student. Hannah, hello. Thank you for joining us to speak to us
Hi.
about what
Yeah,
we have been
it's
seeing and observing and concerned about and worried about, but what's going on in America's college campuses. So first of all, Rabbi Telsner, thank you so much for being here in person. Very much
Right,
appreciated.
right.
And Hannah, thank you for taking some time to join. So Hannah, maybe introduce yourself. Tell everybody where you're from. What's a little bit of your backstory? Are you a freshman, senior? What are you studying? Give us a little sense of your identity here.
okay. Hi, I'm Hannah Landau. I'm from Round Lake. Excuse that I'm in my pajamas. I actually am a camp counselor this summer, so I have to be up at like 5:30.
Oh my
Um,
God.
so yeah, I know it's crazy. It's so much fun. I work at a Tamarack, which is really awesome. It's in Lincolnshire this summer. So great. I'm gonna be a junior at Illinois State. I'm a social work major. So I thought like where I always work at a camp every single summer. It's such a great opportunity. Um, I love just being involved. My mom grew up kind of Orthodox. She grew up in Skokie, and so did my dad. And they've just taught us to just be ourselves and taught us like every single thing that we need to know about being Jewish. I've gone to Hebrew school. I've had a bar mitzvah. I've been to Israel, and I just really pride myself in like this is my identity. This is who I am, and I don't care if you don't want to hear me. Like close your ears. I will speak up about who I am, no matter what.
Fantastic. So, Rabbi, take us back to October 7th. I know it's a very painful memory for everybody, but so to speak, where were you when you learned about what's going on? What happened with the students? And then walk us through from there. How in the world did we get from there to here?
So, good evening, everybody. So, October 7th was Simchas Torah. We were at Chabad, and we had a beautiful event the night of Simchas Torah. We had a kiddush, and we had singing and dancing. In the middle of one of our students, who's actually an Israeli student, he came in and he told us about what was just developing then. He didn't have much details of what things were starting up, and he came in just for a few minutes. He didn't stay for long. He stayed for Kiddush, and we said a l'chaim that everyone should be safe and healthy, and as much as what we knew at the time. And then the next day was Simchas Torah again. We had some students come over, and we started hearing more and more news of what was going on. Um, of course, it wasn't until after Yontif where we found out the magnitude of what had happened. Students on campus were, of course, very disturbed, shattered, hurt, broken. 2 days later, or 2 or 3 days later, we had a big event on the quad center of campus. We had the dean of students joined us, and some other faculty members, some professors, the local news sites. We said Tehillim, we said Psalms, and we sang some songs, etc. That's what we did. That was that week. We had already that Friday night was actually also the Friday night of my son's bar mitzvah. So we had a very big crowd. My own family, a lot of people had come in, and we had a tremendous amount of students who actually never actually showed up and never came before, came by, and we had some actually a McLean County sheriff who's actually an alumni, and he hadn't been around for a long time, and he came by and he stayed and made sure everything was under control and everyone was safe. So we had a lot of people that week, and slowly but surely we started, you know, keeping having a couple more safety precautions around, but we kept on going. Everything was going full steam, and Hanukkah came around, and we had the big menorah lighting on the quad. And in general, even though many campuses around the country and town had demonstrations and anti-Israel stuff, we were pretty quiet for a nice chunk of the semester. It wasn't till the very end of the semester, which was about the week we did have one in-town demonstration, which was actually not university connected, not even Bloomington Normal connected. It was actually most of the people were busting from Peoria. There was about 100 people, and they came and they went to the center of town and uptown Normal. Then they marched onto campus, where they met some of our students who were standing with flags and singing very loudly. But that was pretty much most of it. Then towards the end of the school year, it was the week of Pesach. The week of Pesach, it was April 5th, 6th, around that area. So that's when a group of students, some had decided to open a Students for Justice of Palestine branch on campus, and they made a big demonstration. It was actually Friday of Pesach. So Pesach started this year Monday night. So it was that Friday. Many of our students were very bothered by it, and our student board gave out a letter supporting all the Jewish students, etc., and denouncing anti-Semitism. And then we went into Shabbos, which we didn't know about it, of course, but after Shabbos, we found out that the Students for Justice of Palestine felt that our letter against anti-Semitism was geared against them for some reason, and they wrote up a whole rebuttal. And then we went into the second days of Pesach, and already the first day, the seventh day of Pesach actually, is when we had encampments starting on our campus. It started off with 2, 3, 4 tents. First started off with demonstrations, then it started off with some tents. And then they were told, at the end of the day, they were told they have to take it down. They didn't. And then the next morning, they came and they were told that they have to take it down by 7 a.m. or something like that. So thankfully, those were taken down, but it remained the demonstrations. And then they went into the different faculty offices until they got arrested. A group of them got arrested and banned from campus. All the while that week, while the encampment was going on, it wasn't intense anymore. We had a beautiful Jewish Pride event on the quad, just a couple of 100 feet away. And we had the police came to join us, and it was just it wasn't we told everyone clearly it's not a counter protest, because we're not counter protesting anything. We're just doing Jewish Pride, and we sang some songs and we said some prayers, and we just had a great time. There was actually one of the Christian groups on campus had their weekly meeting, and they had just had their weekly meeting, so they all came en masse marching to join our Jewish Pride event, which was very nice. Before we started, some of the kids from down the block, shall we call it, a couple of feet away from the other encampment, came and hung around, but pretty quickly they left. There was some people from the campus. It's not the campus police. They have like keeping the order, basically, mostly elderly people with just nice vests. And they were there making sure everyone was fine. But thankfully that went down very well. A couple of days later, there was a student government meeting where they we were told by one of the members of the student government that they were coming to complain that they weren't allowed to practice their First Amendment rights of demonstrating. So they had a group of their students came and spoke all about the First Amendment and how their right to demonstrate. And 2 of our students spoke about the feelings of Jewish students on campus, how they feel afraid and targeted. And at the end of the meeting, they did some sort of very wishy-washy resolution that everyone should be able to demonstrate. Then for the next couple of days was towards the end of campus. The campus was finishing, it was final week. So they just kept on harassing the president of the university, having sit-ins in his office. But then it started raining really hard one night, and somehow they all disappeared. So that's in a nutshell. Hannah can tell you more detail about what some of the Jewish students actually.
Yeah, Hannah, can you give us a
experience.
little perspective? First of
Oh
all,
my
a little
God, yes, I
background.
can.
Growing up, you say you grew up in Round Lake. Had you ever been exposed to any real significant anti-Semitism just in your youth? That
Something in middle school, but it was very minuscule. Like someone drew a swastika on my folder, and that was shut down immediately. I guess the middle school teachers realized, that's not right. And then that was probably the last, I've never faced anything like I faced this year, at the end of
So
finals.
can you walk us through a little bit about your experience
Yeah.
and what it was like to be a student during all of this?
So this actually started probably a couple days after October 7th, and some girl that I knew from freshman year, just through mutuals, I posted about how it was just an Instagram post just showing solidarity to no people should be killed. This was right after October 7th. She slides up, she goes, "You are a murderer, you're a horrible person, and your people just basically saying you know, one side against the other, basically saying that Hamas is a peaceful organization. I literally went crying to Rachel, Chaim's wife, because I've never faced like the amount of paragraphs, the amount of hate. Like I went to my brother, I went to Rachel, like I didn't know what to do because I've never experienced that. And that was
And
like
this is
days.
someone you knew. This was like a person you had a little bit of a friendship with.
Yes, and I thought like she was like, I'm literally from Gaza. I'm like, okay, like I'm American, like, and I like didn't know anything like that much at the time because it just happened. Um, and then after, I would say this was like during the student government meeting. So, me and a bunch of friends from Chabad, like we just didn't feel safe. I kept getting harassed on social media, even back in October. And we went to go talk to Andy Morgan. Me, my friend Lauren, my friend Julia, just because
Jump
like
in. Who's Andy Morgan? Who's Andy
he is the
Morgan?
dean of students
Dean of
at
students.
Illinois
Okay.
State. Yes,
Just
and he had
Andy
been.
Morgan is a very good friend of Israel, a
Oh,
very good friend of
he has
Jewish
been to
community.
2 mega Shabbats at ISU. His 2 years being here. He's amazing. And we just felt really comfortable going to him and just speaking about our concerns because like he was definitely like an ear, like someone of power, someone that could listen. Um, so that was like probably I think a day before the student government meeting. And he's like, yes, we're very aware of what's happening and the social media that they're creating and the persona that they're creating. They're trying to become an RSO. Like we're all very aware and we're trying.
RSO? What is RSO?
It's like a student organization, kind of like
Student organization.
yeah.
Registered Student Organization.
Yeah.
We're
So
not
they're
down with all the lingo here.
yeah, sorry. Um,
OMG.
oh, right. So
LOL.
Andy Morgan was like very aware, like everyone in his staff was very aware of what they were trying to pull and what they were trying to do. And yeah, so like he was just reassuring us like it's under control and we felt very safe. And then I think it was the next day or I don't really remember the timeline that much, but it was a student government meeting. And I think Rachel, Chaim's wife, told us there are so many people that are speaking that are in the encampment are pro-Palestinian, like, and I'm like, we're all like, why don't people of Chabad, like, why don't we have a voice? And then we all band together and we went to the Bone, which is like the student, you know, organization or like the student center, where this was like taking place. And like Chaim said, both vice presidents came out and spoke about their safety. It was a beautiful, beautiful like speech. They came up with it on the spot, like because we didn't know we were speaking. Which their speech got actually targeted by the opposer saying, "Well, we know that you want to be safe, but like really? Really, Emily's?" Like they were just like kind of, I don't know, they were kind of like kind of scaring with us, and I didn't really like that. Yeah, and I don't know, I'm very like I don't even know how to describe it. I'm a very like passionate person. So me and my friend came to the student government meeting with Israel flags. Hey, if they get to carry their flags and their banners and chant and do whatever, I'm allowed to just hold it up loud and proud. And then we went up to Andy Morgan with it. Like I had it around I had it like a cape, and my friend Lauren also had it. And then someone took a picture and was like, "These Zionists, Andy Morgan supports Zionists." And then after the fact, the meeting was over. We weren't happy with the results. Like that's whatever. We got over it. I was then posted on their SJP. I don't know what that stands for. I'm so sorry. Their SJP Instagram account where all of their members are wearing their masks, have their face blurred. I am the only person besides Andy Morgan that is getting posted with my face. I then feel targeted as an individual. Who is this girl? What is her Instagram at? We need to find her. I was freaking out. It was like 10:30, 11. I called the ISU PD crying. I didn't know what to do. They wanted to find me. I was getting posted on the ISU Snapchat story saying I was a bigot and a Zionist and what is wrong with this girl? She's insane. Getting posted on the other social media called Yik Yak. This crazy girl started running and screaming at us. She's such a Zionist. She's a big, like, I was freaking out. They're trying to find me. I didn't know what to do. This was literally finals. And I'm like, I can't study. Like, why is everyone attacking me? I just held up my flag. But they don't get called out if they hold out their flag. So I was very peeved. So I called the police. A cop came to my apartment. They like literally at
You live in the dorms or you live in a
it
fraternity?
was like a apartment, like like on campus living, but it was for sophomores. So it was like my own apartment with a kitchen, a living room, my own room, but it was still owned by ISU. So this was like around midnight. Um, I literally have all my lights on, my doors are locked. I'm like freaking out. Nobody's home. All my roommates are gone for the weekend. And the cop comes at midnight. And I like talked to him. He was so amazing. I've never like really felt a connection with ISU cop before. So an incident happened my freshman year that got taken care of, but he goes, unfortunately, what they're doing is so close to a crime, but it's not. It is so close. They know exactly what they're doing. They're writing in chalk. They're posting stuff, but without them like actually physically like getting your name and posting your name, even though they're trying to find it, we can't do anything about this. He goes, we're going to write this. We're going to put this on the list. Here's my email. Send me any incriminating hate speech that you found, that you've taken pictures of, which I have. And I was like, okay, like I felt very discouraged. I was like, that doesn't help me. I still feel scared. I like didn't know what to do. I was like, thank you so much for taking the time to come talk to me, but like what? That didn't solve anything. So yeah, and then there was like a Israel solidarity thing on the quad. I think this was after I talked to the police, probably like a day after. And an NPR interviewer came to interview me. Very, very biased interviewer, which I didn't like. In the interview, he goes, he like writes, or like it's in the passage, it's like, oh, this is how student Hannah Landau feels about the current genocide that's happening. She doesn't think it's a genocide. And I'm like you're like taking words out of my mouth because I didn't say that, number one. But like, nah, but anyways, and me and a couple friends, we were just like looping the quad with my Israel flag, with my Am Yisrael High poster that I made literally like 20 minutes before, because I'm very passionate. Like, of course, I work as an arts and crafts counselor this summer. So like I just wanted to come and support, be loud, be proud, because usually like our numbers compared to them, it's like, few and far between. So like I wanted to show up and be like a very loud presence because they're chanting, they're distracting people. I can't even sit on the quad and work on my homework without hearing them scream like free, free Palestine. I don't like that. And it made me very uncomfortable. So if I could make them feel a little bit uncomfortable, like they're making everyone on campus felt, like, so what? I'm not doing anything. Like so
Sure.
then again, I got
When
posted
you
on.
walk around past these encampments and you look out, do you see kids there that you know?
Yes, one of my teachers is there.
Oh
Yeah.
my.
Yeah, that's another thing. He got arrested though, so
Okay.
yeah,
Did you
that's
feel
another
that in the
thing.
classroom too, or only out there in the encampment?
So he was I could definitely tell he was a certain way in the classroom. He was a white male teaching African American literature class. And he kind of didn't gloss over, kind of highlighted about the Ku Klux Klan, which I was a little bit weary of, but you know, yeah. He was
We
definitely
had a student on from University of Illinois who talked about having a teacher that
yes.
directly confronted them. Did you have anything like that?
Yes, I did. There was like spread love Ape High fraternity event right outside Milner Library. And it was just like a poster board, and it was like us putting post-its and like saying like we like some people wrote Am Yisrael High, some people like wrote just like something nice about your day. And there was people like there's a little bridge and then it's connecting. So this is like the quad area. There's this bridge and then the library and the bone are right here. So it's kind of over like a street. And no one's really supposed to be chalking up that area. It's like whatever. You can't have signs there. There were signs. You can't put anything on like the lights. There's stuff there. Like, people are just not listening to like ISU regulations and stuff like that. So I see my teacher, but he's wearing a mask, but I know it's him by his ponytail. Um, yeah. So I know it's him by his ponytail, and I go, Stephen, can I please borrow some chalk? Oh my gosh. And he thinks I'm for his cause. He's writing Free Palestine in capital letters. He's really eating it up. He goes, yeah. So in between his Free Palestines, I write Am Yisrael Chai. It says Free Palestine, and then I write right under from Hamas, and I Jewish stars, and I'm just like, if they get to chalk, I get to chalk. Like it's my right. It's my First Amendment right. If that's what they say, that's what I'm gonna say. And then it wasn't him directly, but it was this person. They came up to my face and they screamed F you to me, like this close to my face. And this teacher, this person, like this educator, hired by ISU, someone who's supposed to like see reason or so, I don't even know, just lets it happen. I've never been screamed at in my face ever. I get it, I can be kind of tempting. I can, I push people's buttons, but like, oh my gosh. And they walk away. He's like, whoa, 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 like the teacher. And I'm like, yeah, okay. They walk away. I go, keep spreading your hate. And then that's it. And then I talk about that with the cop, like, because he's like waiting for updates and stuff like that. So like that is when I got like personally screamed at. I really didn't know how to react. So I took a step back. I was like, oh my God, like this is genuinely happening. But like nobody is screaming at them. And I literally was doing the exact same thing as them, just because I'm Jewish and I'm spreading, a different side or whatever. People are really looking down at me.
Not us.
And even,
We're incredibly impressed.
oh my God, yeah, I don't back down.
Good for you.
I will not back down.
Good for you, Hannah.
Yes.
Wow. Wow. What's
yeah.
it like now? You're home now, right? I mean,
Yes,
school's out, right?
Oh my God, it's amazing being home.
What do you anticipate will look like, when you go back in the fall? Is there any talk about any changes that are going to be made? Anything
No.
to reassure you?
They're asking us. I had a meeting with the OEOA, like the equal opportunity people. I had a meeting, some people from Chabad also had a meeting. They're asking us, what should we do? What needs to be like, why me, a 20-year-old, needs to figure out how to end anti-Semitism on the college campus? Like, isn't that up to you? Like,
We're the
hope.
adults, right?
Yeah, like, I don't know. I've never experienced this. Like, if this was like, I don't even know, any other situation, it'd be like nipped in the butt. But I'm just a little nervous because I'm in a social work program, and a lot of people from the social work program that Emily, one of the speakers at the student government meeting, said, I cannot believe they are switching up. We used to be friends. We used to do projects together, and now they're looking at me in a different light. At least 3 of them commented that I was a Zionist when I got posted on that Instagram post, and they were all in social work. And I'm just like, okay, I'm going into social work with a bunch of people that hate me. Like, I don't even know. So I'm not like as scared as I was the week of finals about getting targeted, getting attacked, everything like that. But I am scared that there obviously are anti-Semitic people with certain views, and they will not like me if I speak out and stuff like that. So I am nervous, but I'm not as frightened as I was the last week of school.
Wow. Well, Hannah, we're incredibly impressed with you. Rabbi Telsner, thank you for supporting Hannah and the Jewish students at Illinois State. I
And
promised you
there are some people that are really, truly, deeply care. Like, especially during finals, I sent emails out to all my teachers. Some of them didn't care. And then 2 of them were incredible. Like, one of my teachers, she doesn't read emails. She like literally doesn't read emails. She was my economics teacher. She read my email that I was in fear. I like literally didn't go to her class for weeks because her classroom is here and the encampment was right here. They know my face, they know my name, they knew my boyfriend. His roommate was in there, like in the encampment. It was very scary that we were all kind of connected and everyone knew our faces. So like I was just scared to like walk across campus. So I went in. That was probably the first time I went into my class. My mom was sitting right there. She felt like, oh my God, you didn't go to class. But I was scared. So it was probably my first time going into my economics class in like weeks. I tried my hardest, to catch up, do the video, stuff like that. And I went up to her. I was like, hey, I sent you an email. She goes, oh, crap. I'm sorry. I didn't read them. I'm like, oh, that's okay. Like, I'm just here to take the final. She's like, okay. And then probably during us taking the final, she like was reading them. And she's like, can you come see me like after or whatever? Because she probably wanted to read it. And then she was like, Hannah, oh my goodness. She was like too stunned to speak. She was like, wow, you have been going through this for the past couple weeks and I had no idea. And I'm like, yeah. She's like, you shouldn't even come in today. And I was like, yeah, but I took the final and I did surprisingly really good for studying for under stress, under not going to class. I got a 67. Okay. Better than my
Passing.
midterm. But when this is the best thing ever. She then looks at me. This was in class right after I took my final. She writes my name on a piece of paper, and right underneath she goes, full credit on final exam. Just cause.
All right.
And I was like, yeah, 67 is great, but I ended with an A, which was amazing. And also my psychology teacher, she let me take my final at home. And it was just like that little bit of kindness like that I needed. I like needed to get out of my apartment so bad. I like left probably like the second day of finals week. I could not be in that environment any longer. I was stressed beyond belief. I was like breaking out in hives. It was so bad. Yeah, I know.
Well, Hannah, you're incredibly brave. Good for you for
Thank
standing
you.
up for our
Always.
people. And you don't know
Always.
who else you've inspired, other Jewish kids on campus. They see you and they can be inspired. And thank you to Rabbi Telsner. I did tell him it would just be 15 or 20 minutes. We've already gone over, but if
I
somebody
know,
wants
so
to
I talk a
unmute,
lot. Sorry, guys.
that's okay. We're enthralled by your story. If anybody wants to unmute for a moment and maybe ask a question, otherwise we will let Hannah and the rabbi say goodnight, but you're both incredibly impressive. Your bravery makes our people proud. I'm Yisrael Chai indeed. And whoever's feet those are, tell them we said hello as well. Okay. Otherwise, we'll say goodnight to everybody. Thank you for joining. Really appreciate it. And we want to remind everybody on Monday, Melodies and Meaning, we want to see everybody there Monday night. Nira, Mel, we expect to see you there. No excuses. Monday night. Go to melodiesandmeaning.com and purchase your tickets. Okay.
Hannah, you did a great job.
You did.
Thank
You
you
make
so
our people
much.
proud. You make our
Thank
people
you.
proud.
You're amazing. Absolutely amazing.
Of course, we
Hannah, we
only
need
bring
a
you the
couple
best.
100,000 more like you.
Amen.
we
Yes,
Yeah, that's true.
amen,
We're
amen.
proud of you,
Amen.
Hannah. We're proud of you.
We're very proud of you. You make our whole
Thanks for
people proud.
listening.